Michael Kim, Wolf Sports Management. You got the wheels turning, you got the wheels churning, and you signing more guys as of late. But before we get into your new signee, I want to go back to a couple weeks ago for Bellator 241. You know, you were there on ground zero, so to say, during that. Not even during the event, during the lead up to the event, and I wanted to pick your brain about some of the things that happened. Of course, the event was canceled. What was it? How many hours did you know before the actual event was supposed to start?
Oh, I want to say roughly like about it was around like noon, I believe it was, maybe a couple hours before or after. I said like early afternoon, I would say, is when it was canceled. Yeah, it was a stressful period of time, even in the few days leading up before the event, because when I got up there, it was that Thursday, and that was the same day where the NBA had suspended the rest of their season. So there was a lot of question going on, like, oh, what's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to other mainstream sports? So we were all wondering what was going on at the time.
So a lot of people on Thursday, you know, the fighters, the managers, you know, personnel, you guys are talking to each other about like the cancellation of the show then, even on Thursday.
Not from an official capacity
Hmm.
necessarily. I mean, we knew that that was certainly a possibility based on organization after organization making announcements pretty much by the hour on Twitter. You would see a new update on a new sport making delays or cancellations. So we knew that that was definitely a possibility. We knew weeks going in that, oh, maybe something will happen, but we have to be ready to work. So we went full force as if nothing was going on, preparing, making weight, getting ready, training, and making sure that we'd be ready for the office, so to speak, on Friday.
Was Marcus struggling with that, or was that in his mind? Because you know, I've talked to Marcus a few times, and it seems like he wouldn't really, it wouldn't bother him that much. He would just, he's a very professional guy. He just goes in there and does what he needs to do. So
Yeah,
not much
Marcus.
pep talk for him, right?
Exactly. I mean, half the time he's giving me a pep talk. In fact, he was the one that gave me a pep talk that week, just because I was kind of scrambling around making sure everything and everyone was okay. And he's just like, dude, I need you to calm down, relax. It's okay. We'll be all right no matter what. And of course, he has a lot of people worry about him as well. And you've talked to him yourself, like you said, and he's as mentally tough as they come. It wasn't a problem for him. He just handled it as he would any other type of situation where there was adversity to be dealt with, and we controlled what we were able to control and move forward in that manner.
The, you know, you said around noon. So before that, you guys had no idea, you know, that it was even a possibility. You guys were going forth as the event, as if the event was gonna happen. And then once you got the news, you know, how did that happen?
Yeah, so first, I believe it was the evening before, after weigh-ins, I want to say, they announced that it would be closed doors, so just the event is going on, no spectators. And then um, we once we found out that Saturday, then that's when I knew it was official. They gave me a call. I spoke with Gene Estioko, Rich Chow over at Bellator, and they explained to me that it was being canceled based on the circumstances that were going around regarding the coronavirus. So in a way, I don't want to say we were relieved, because we were ready to go. We were ready to fight. Marcus was hungry to fight. But in my opinion, like, even under perfect circumstances, a perfect fight camp, no distractions, fight's hard. You're going to get hurt. And to go into a fight with that in the back of your mind, for any of us, for the fighter, for the coaches, for anyone, that's just an added variable that you don't necessarily want to deal with.
Because there's a huge difference between canceling the event and postponing the event. We figured that out recently, you know, with what the UFC is doing, and they canceled the event. They paid the fighters. How big of it is for them to actually pay the fighters? Is there something in the contract about if you do make weight, you get paid, right?
Yes, there's certain provisions in contracts that I'm not at the liberty to
Mm.
discuss my fighters' contracts per se, but you know they technically, I mean, we showed up, we weighed in, we were ready to go, and when we got the word that it was canceled, I mean, everyone was wondering, well, what's going to happen then? And before we even had to ask, they told us, Jane, Ezioka, Rich Chow, Bellator, they told us that, listen, we're going to take care of you guys. You're going to be paid your show money, your win money, and even your ticket commission. So they are, I mean, I was blown away. I was like, I was on my way back home from the hotel after the canceled event. I got a call from them, and that's when they explained it to me. And I was just shocked, just because I wasn't expecting that. And again, they just showed their true colors, their true class, and they've always been a pleasure to work with, even before this. And it just goes to you to show in times like these what kind of organization they really are. So I am just from a professional and personal level very grateful to them.
You have a bunch of fighters in different places around the world. When you talk with them and assess their situation at home, like what are they telling you?
Yeah, so I've made it a point to check in with all of my guys, both that are here and out in LA, make sure that they're okay, and just check up on each and every one with them. And listen, I just ask, I mean, I follow up with them anyway just to see how things are going. And then, of course, now I'm just making sure that, given the circumstances, they're taking extra precautions, that they're doing okay, that their family's doing okay. And frankly, I tell them, listen, there are literally no fights going on right now. And California just put an indefinite hiatus on all unarmed combat events in the state. So, and at this point, you can't even congregate in groups of more than X amount, depending on the state you're in. So just really don't stress about getting any fights or anything like that. Just focus on your fight, focus on your family, focus on yourself, and stay safe and stay healthy. That nothing matters more.
Every fighter's in different situations. You know, some guys or girls are single. You know, they have no one to take care of, and you guys on the other side, you got other fighters on the other side that have a family. They have to take care of them. Are they stressed out? Are they? What are they telling you? You know, with this self quarantine or social distancing that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, from at least my fighters, the ones that I'm with, they're fine. They're all great. They're tough as nails. I mean, they go to war inside the cage on the mats, and frankly, the hardest part for them, probably, as it is for me, really, is just the inactivity and just going a little stir crazy with not being able to do anything. But they're mentally tough, and they've handled adversity far worse than having to just kind of be inactive for a little while. So from that perspective, I'm not concerned about them. I'm just worried about the actual global impact of it. God forbid having an impact to someone close to them.
I feel online they're focused on the financial burden,
Yeah.
right? That this is putting on
Yeah.
not just fighters, you know, just everybody that are, you know, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of fighters are living paycheck to paycheck. So, what do you say to a fighter, you know, that is living paycheck to paycheck? Are you just trying to focus them on just kind of their family and not think about training as much, or do you tell them, hey, train and just try to live your life as regular as possible?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I haven't had my fighters express that to me. I think they are all mature enough to understand the situation at hand, and frankly, it goes way beyond just fighters. It goes to pretty much workers all over the world, like the government workers, service industry. My world certainly impacted by it as well. So rather than being concerned by paycheck situation, at this point, it's like a day by day situation. Let's survive. Let's make it through, and just let's do our best. And I know the whole "let's do our best" sounds cheesy, but really, that's all we can do. We have no precedent for something like this, and we just really gotta just keep our calm and just really try to be as rational as possible. I mean, the most exhausting part about the news that we're seeing here is just how galvanizing it is from a political point of view, and certainly from a racial perspective. And man, I just want the doctors to tell me what the actual truth of the situation is. That's all that matters to me. I don't want to deal with the politics. the racial stuff is for a different person, different conversation, but it's out there too, and really you're seeing certain aspects of society rear its ugly head at this point.
Have you seen any of that? Have you experienced any of that racism or because of this virus?
No, not personally. I not by the people that I know, and certainly not even by chance. I've not had any instance of that, but I know friends that have been through that, and certainly, listen, I'm not pretending it's not out there.
Yeah, so it must be more apparent around in America probably more than anywhere else in the world because it's the melting pot. It's the biggest melting pot in the world. I feel bad for those people because a lot of those people they don't know how to defend themselves. Because the people that are getting attacked are people that most likely do not know how to defend themselves, so
Yeah,
they're being bullied and and
yeah,
and, and targeted and because of what they look like and probably not just what they look like, but how they look. What I mean, like what
of
their
course.
physical features are. So it's just sad to see that. Now with all this going on, yourself, how is your daily life? Are you just working from home, or do you actually go outside from time to time, or what's happening in your life?
Yeah, so I'm basically working from home in my apartment where I'm at right now. Our work instituted that last week, and I still do go outside just to get some fresh air, get a walk, run an errand or two, go for a run, and just as far as staying physically active, I'll do stuff like in my apartment. I'll actually like go up to my roof on the apartment just to like do something, just get some push-ups, sit-ups, and just some calisthenics and just like functional strength type exercises that you can do since the gyms themselves are closed. The jiu-jitsu gyms are closed. The like regular gyms are closed. So only essential businesses are remaining open. So we just gotta make do with the situation that we're in. And again, like I keep going to it, just do our best because it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. There are times where it feels like I'm losing track of the days. I mean, just yesterday I was like talking to a friend of mine, like, oh, like what are you guys doing on this Friday? And they're like, it's Saturday, man. I'm like, oh yeah, it is Saturday. So there are elements where it sometimes kind of blurs together since you're in the same surroundings all the time. But that's why again, you just need to really make sure you provide yourself with some kind of external stimuli, whether it's just listening to music, getting some exercise in, or coming on board with Kumite TV to speak with you and see, check in with you and see how things are going.
Definitely, definitely. No, I think you just recently announced that you signed a new fighter to the roster,
Yes.
Sean Santella. Now, how did that all come together? He's a guy that's been around for a while, so he's probably seen everything in the game.
Oh, yes, you're absolutely right about that. I was referred to Sean by actually, again, Hobson Gracie, who had sent me to Lita, if you recall. And so it just started with a phone call. I spoke with Sean on the phone for a couple of hours, actually. And I told him about my story, my background, and he told me about his experience and his time in the fight game. And he's had a lot to go through, and he's had his rise to the top. He's 23-7. He's one of the best flyweights out there, and frankly, he needs his shot, and he deserves his shot at that next level, whether it's with UFC, One, Bellator, one of those big time organizations. It's his time, and it, he he deserves it. I don't want to like I don't like saying that word because life's unfair, but he deserves it. He works his butt off. He advocates for himself. He trains as hard as anyone I know, and he's just a good guy, well-spoken guy, and those are the types of people that I try to focus on when I add them to my roster and try to work with them because those are the type of people you don't have to worry about, and you know that they can be as reliable for you as I know that I will be for them.
So Sean, he's kind of in limbo right now, is he?
Yeah, I guess that's one way you could describe it because he was CFFC champ, and after that he was trying to get to the next level with a couple of organizations, and things kind of didn't get quite there. They fell through last minute, and like lots of like almost. So it's been a little tough to finally get to that like next level and be in the cage, doors locked behind you, because he's come very, very close in terms of being in that situation. Just the last minute aspects of the sport, unfortunately, worked against him time and time again. And fortunately, he has an army of allies beside him that are advocating for him, both people that he trains with, people that he knows very well, Frankie Edgar, Renzo Gracie, etc. They've all put in words on his behalf, and will continue to do so. And certainly I'm going to be using all my resources to help him out as much as I can as well.
Have you heard anything from Bellator? Of course, this situation is never ending. It seems like with the virus, but have you heard anything from them saying this is kind of like when we target to return to having any kind of events, or is just everything postponed indefinitely?
Yeah, as of now, I'm not aware of any new updates. I dropped one of my contacts a line just the other day asking him how things are going on, but I'm sure they're scrambling themselves trying to figure out what's going on, not only for their work situations, but obviously for their own, personal lives as well. So I'm not trying to press them too hard on what's going on. I'm still staying busy, of course, trying to talk with people, make sure the wheels are still spinning with things. But things are happening at a level much bigger than just fighting. So when you extrapolate that, it's kind of easy to see like, oh, we're no need to probably press at this point just yet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna send out a mass email to every single person once they figure it out and have their next event, because it halts so much that's going on with the promotion, with
Yeah,
tournaments and titles and everything, and just like prospects needing fights and
yeah,
continuing their momentum uh up the ranks and all kinds
exactly.
of stuff. Guys that were supposed to debut for the promotion, there's just everything is just halted to a stop. So it's just we just gotta
And
wait. We gotta wait it out, right?
absolutely. And I know these guys are all hungry, but we just gotta hold the fort down, wait. When the time's ready, fights will return, sports will return, and certainly Bellator will. They run a great shop, and they will be back better than ever. UFC, obviously, you know how they run like a well-run oiled machine as well. So just got to be patient. It's tough. It's excruciating. I won't paint the try to make it seem any easier than it is. But again, we just gotta be patient, stay busy, stay working. So once the fights do come along, we'll be ready to hit the ground running. We won't just start from then. We'll be prepared once they are ready to go. So that's what I keep telling my guys. Like, listen, just keep moving, keep doing what you can, and I won't be stopping on my end, because once the lights get turned back on, so to speak, I'll be ready to go for them as well.
Control what you can control. It means more than ever now. Do not
Exactly.
worry about what is out of your hands. It means more than ever now.
Exactly. And that's the precise words that I kept talking to Marcus and his team about last week, because we're getting questions, what's going on? Are they going to fight or not going to fight? Is there going to be an audience or is there not going to be an audience? I don't know. All I know is that we need to make weight by 10 a.m. at this location, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a workout later that afternoon. Get ready. That's what we're going to do. And again, those are the things that we know that we can't control, to know that we know that we have to do, and we'll do them. We will be prepared to do what we need to do. We're ready to work. We're ready to complete our end of the bargain, and that's all we can control. If you try to worry about all the other things that you can't control, all the variables, you're gonna lose your mind, and you won't get anything done on top of that. So it doesn't help anyone to be in that kind of mindset. And luckily, none of us were, and we just we just rolled with the punches, as you would say.
One hot topic, that's been in the news or just in conversations throughout the community, the MMA community, is the judging. MMA judging. There's many different styles of judging, but in North America they go by the boxing format, the 30 28, those numbers. What do you think about the judging, that's been going on lately, and do you feel like there should be a different style of judging that you prefer?
I mean, it's not unfortunately anything new to see this much variance in the judging. I mean, it's been like this for as long as I can remember, so it coming up again now isn't anything new. And we've been on the receiving end of that directly once. I know for Marcus's fight at MSG last year, that was a split decision. And even when they announced that, like you could see Marcus like, what? Like, and apparently what I heard was that one of the judges there was filling in the cards for the reverse corner accidentally. And luckily it didn't impact the result in any way, but oh my goodness, like if it had, I would have been going to work. Let's say that. And I think really the only thing you can do is just have continued training for MMA judging, higher scrutiny, because there are good MMA judges out there and good trainers to do so. And for example, Kevin McDonald, the referee, actually runs certified judging courses at the Association of Boxing Commissions conferences every year, which I've actually attended previously. And I mean, no one knows. I mean, you talk about the judges. The refs know as well as anyone what's going on inside the cage better than anyone else. And I think you just need to be able to give judges more access to that level of training. The problem is you have 50 different athletic commissions around the country. You have the sanctioning bodies all over the world. They're not all going to have the same resources or access to these types of judging, but it's a bit of a war of attrition when it comes down to it. Just you gotta just work hard to not leave it in the hands of the judges, as Dana always says, because you just never know what's going to happen. And I know a while ago they were floating the idea of having like fractional scoring systems, like having like 0.5 into that, and there's no way that's a good idea. You add decimals into the equation here, that's going to make things even more confusing. And people talk about MMA math when it comes to this fighter beats that fighter. When you add that in more literally with decimal points to the scoring system, that's just not going to happen. You just need better access for people that want to judge to the guys that are providing sound training on how to appropriately judge a fight.
What about open judging? They just recently did that at the Invicta event a couple weeks back. Did you check that out? What did you think of that?
Yeah, that's always been a concept that's been discussed. I know it goes against the grain of tradition and probably purists don't like it, but at this point, I know a lot of fighters have said, like, listen, if I'm down, I want to know that I'm down, especially if I think that I'm up. And I think it's worth a shot. Maybe give it a trial basis and see how that works out, and see how the feedback is from the judges, from the fighters, from their cornermen and the coaches, and just see. I mean, I don't think it can hurt to give that a trial run.
Yeah, they've been doing it in Japan for the last couple of years for Pancrase, and it does have a good effect, I believe. The fighters know that they are down, so when they go out in that third round or even in the second round, it makes a difference. It makes a difference in the fighters, and even if a guy tries to cruise, it doesn't matter because the other guy knows he's down, so he's gonna go in there and attack and chase after the other guy, which impacts the fight. So I think it doesn't hurt. Like you said, there's also a website. Have you seen this website called MMAdecisions.com?
Yes.
that's
Where,
also a different way of judging too, where you get the media. The media judges the fights online, and it's
yeah,
like maybe 15 individuals from
mhm,
different media outlets, and they give their
yeah,
scorecards, and they look sometimes they look totally opposite from the judges sitting cage
yeah,
side.
yeah.
Who do you think would be better at judging? Do you think it would be like media members? Do you like the idea of media members maybe being able to judge fights also?
I have to say no on that because, and I say that with no disrespect intended for anybody in the media, but it just, again, that opens up the variance so much more. And uh, you don't know where these guys are coming from. They'd have to go through their own set of certifications that the judges would, and you have no idea what biases they may have, where or what previous experience they have. So if they want to be a judge, by all means, go be a judge. Just obviously, be aware of any potential conflict of interest that could happen, but do so in an official capacity, not have the media in as a actual judge and affecting the outcome of a sporting event. I mean, what sport out there does that? There's none. I mean, have them have input on the Hall of Fame as they do in other sports, but absolutely not for actual scoring criteria.
All right. Well, yeah. Yeah. It's just always I always love asking people about media being involved in judging because you see that a lot online. Is like the media people just like giving their own scorecards and
Oh,
yeah.
I think it's great, especially for like Monday morning analysis, because again, they do have a lot of knowledge about the sport, and they're in the position, being so familiar with the sport, where they can shed light on the instances where the judging is not up to par. So that's what their most important role is, and that's what they've been doing again recently in bringing that up to light. In that, listen, the judges are still not really seeing these fights properly, and you are impacting the career trajectories of so many fighters by doing this, and in boxing too, for that matter. And the difference between a win or a loss completely changes the trajectory of who you're going to fight next, and your financial successes or failures because of that. So again, they really need to come down on that and make the judging scoring system much more consistent and much more reliable.
Michael, thank you so much, man, for the time, and I'm glad you're doing well. You know, in your isolation and being productive and actually getting the physical exercise on top of getting your work done, which I think that's very important. A lot of people probably getting work done, but they just after that the couch is there, right? And the
Yeah,
couch is calling, and
yeah,
Netflix is calling, and all these the fast food service delivery
oh,
service is
yeah,
calling, right? It's everything's calling you, right?
yeah. It's very easy to be stagnant. Trust me, I've fallen victim to that plenty of times before. So, but right now, I'm just trying to keep both body and mind healthy, so I can be ready for my guys. And once the fights are back on, so will we. And I'm excited for all of them because I have some great guys under my management right now, and looking forward to seeing them back in action again really soon.